I'm going to be absolutely unapologetically authentic here. This cycle has been fucking difficult. It has been nothing like the previous cycles. The amount of shit we've had to deal with, if you want to call them black swans, fine, but the turmoil, the economic climate, political uncertainty, tariff wars, threats of world wars, like what the hell is all this? It was nowhere near this tough back in 2021, but I guess that's part of the game, right? The markets will try force us to give up. If it was easy, everyone would be rich. And to be honest, if you're still here, even watching this video right now, I really respect your resolute determination, a trait which is very rare. It's like as soon as we seem to be gaining traction and tides are turning, a country or political figure or something think, oh, you want to make money? You're on the verge of life-changing wealth? That's cute. How about no, you fucking idiot? What's up, my people? I hope you're all doing ecstatically well. Been a couple weeks since the last market update video and a lot has been going on, as always, so it's a good time to provide a quick update. You know the drill. We'll look at Bitcoin, do some quick analysis both technically and fundamentally. We'll discuss macroeconomics, including major world events that seem to be taking place and what this could mean for our portfolios. Then we'll dissect Ethereum and, of course, give a quick outlook on altcoins for the remainder of this cycle. Remember, whilst I am a financial advisor in real life, none of this is financial advice. Beginning with Bitcoin, we've had an eventful couple weeks as usual. As I said previously, we are in a little cool-off / sideways phase right now, following the intense recent upwards movement. This is to be expected, you know, although I have to say the strength shown here has been impressive. After hitting all-time highs of 112k, we had worries about the US-China trade deal, Trump versus Elon Musk publicly on Twitter, and of course Iran versus Israel. The culmination of all three of these events in such a small space of time would be more than enough reason to send Bitcoin downwards, back under 100k, potentially dropping to the 90k region, and no one would bat an eyelid. However, somehow we wicked down just to 100k, bounced back pretty quick. Is this the institutions manipulating the market, keeping Bitcoin's price at a certain level? Is there just too much demand from investors, whales, and nations to balance the price? Is Bitcoin solidifying itself as an alternative store of value in times of uncertainty? I'd say it's a mixture of all of these reasons possibly, and maybe a few more. Remember the thesis for cycle invalidation. We ignore short-term noise and look at some of the fundamentals. From a purely price perspective, being at 105k, we are far from this cycle being over. I mean, given the huge rally lately and this little cool-off, which has still shown great strength, it implies that there's plenty more to come. We still have not lost the 50-week moving average, which has served as a great indicator all cycle long. You can see we were close to losing it multiple times this cycle, but Bitcoin bailed out and went on a run each time soon after. Once this goes, it will definitely be a factor in deciding whether we've topped out. I've seen people theorizing that this may be a double top scenario like in 2021. I disagree, because this year has been like no other. The reason it's been so frustrating is due to the world events mentioned earlier, like the tariffs, the wars, the Fed. Given everything that has happened and is currently ongoing, I'm actually so shocked Bitcoin is where it is. Emphasis should be put on how well it's held up. In terms of where we are headed, given we could get further breaking news any day with more developments in the Iran-Israel war, it's very difficult to say with certainty what Bitcoin will do. This accumulation or sideways period above 100k, if we can stay here, it would be fantastic. It provides us with more fuel before another leg up potentially should tensions ease. However, if we do drop, I can see us dropping to the 90k region. This wouldn't concern me and is almost expected in a way. If we revisit the lower 80s, I fear we may be in trouble depending on how long we stay there. But us breaking previous highs or going on an extended rally seems unlikely in the short term unless we get some good news elsewhere. Quick break to ask, why are you not part of the best free community in crypto? Join over 1,000 people determined to make money and help each other out. Sign up to the email newsletter too, it's all free, you've got no excuse, link down below. Bitcoin has still been seeing regular inflows worth hundreds of millions of dollars on a daily basis into its ETFs. This would be helping towards the price action, of course, but it illustrates the sentiment in the market. This isn't like the tariff drama or back in Feb where we saw prolonged periods of outflows, and it could imply that the worst is possibly over. But Bitcoin's price action will obviously be influenced by what's happening in the Iran-Israel war. I don't want to get political, I know this is a highly controversial topic with differing opinions. The bottom line, in my opinion, is this: if Iran and Israel can keep it in-house, i.e. between themselves, fight with each other, just those two countries, I can't see Bitcoin or the markets really being affected too much. Neither of these countries are huge global economic hubs or top tier exporters. Regional stability may be impacted, which would affect the prices of things like oil, but I think the broader financial markets will not be significantly affected. It will become a problem if other nations begin to get directly involved, maybe even indirectly. If we see the US jumping in for Israel or Europe, we may also then see Russia or China showing support to Iran. Then it gets really worrying because that's basically World War III. And if that happens, trust me, your crypto portfolio would be the least of your worries. I can see my audience is scattered around the globe: US, Europe, Middle East, and Asia. Safety would, of course, be the number one priority, and let's pray it doesn't get to that and this can get resolved soon. Interestingly, last year, when tensions were high between the two countries and attacks were carried out, Bitcoin dropped around 8.5%. It shows just how far we've come in terms of strength for Bitcoin to remain relatively unfazed here. Just before all of this, we had Elon and Trump publicly going at each other. Seems to be trouble in paradise between the two. I don't want to speculate what happened here, but Elon took it personally and threw his toys out the pram on X. A barrage of tweets negatively on Trump, going as far as to say the reason he isn't releasing the Epstein files is because he's implicated on them. Fucking crazy thing to say, and just added further political uncertainty to the markets. Bitcoin dropped 4.5%, Tesla lost like $150 billion worth of value. Both have since recovered, but yeah, this was a random mini black swan event of sorts. Musk has now apologized, but still, can they just kiss and make up so our bags can recover? Thanks. So now the next big event, barring any global conflict developments, is the FOMC meeting this upcoming week. I'm very disappointed with how the Fed have handled things. Only a few months ago, the market was pricing in up to 5 rate cuts this year. Now, if we look at the data, we'd be lucky to get 2. It's very frustrating when we see what's actually going on in the economy. We have inflation cooling off, and it has been cooling off for this entire year. We've had the labour market data remaining steady for a while. I get that it was extremely tough times for the Fed in recent years with COVID and high inflation, but it feels as though we're overdue a pivot. I'm not saying begin QE, although that would be very helpful, but just end QT and bring some more liquidity and sentiment back for investors. Trump's plan of basically threatening Jerome Powell, calling him a numbskull, and demanding to cut rates has backfired, and the Fed are making a point to show him that they won't give in to his demands. He was basically saying the Fed should lower rates by 1 full point, which definitely is not going to happen, and he also said that he may have to force something if they don't. I don't really know what options he has, but the fighting talk certainly hasn't worked so far. In more positive news, global liquidity continues to look good for this year. Please note that I have offset this chart by 75 days, and these are the metrics used in this data. I see a lot of people saying this tool won't be accurate anymore because too many people know about it. I disagree, because the fundamental concept of the tool is, well, literally global liquidity. If it's in an uptrend, that means there is more liquidity in economies to be invested into risk assets like crypto, which means theoretically, Bitcoin and altcoins should follow and rise too. I would not solely rely on this tool, but it is useful data for economists out there. Good news on the dollar as well. It managed to hit a new 3-year low. We aren't seeing this reflected in the markets just yet due to the global uncertainty, high interest rates and such, but for risk assets, this encourages investors to rotate their investments out of cash or fixed interest securities once rates drop into risk assets like stocks and crypto. We've gone past my initial risk on region and are dropping into a double risk on region. I don't know what else to call it. But yeah, I'm very happy with the trend thus far this year. We just need a few other factors to go our way before we begin to see results. Ethereum has looked good in recent weeks. As you are all aware, my favorite shitcoin. I drew this area a while ago and said it's a zone of high resistance. I said it would be tough for ETH to break out of it, but once it does and gets to 3k, I could see clear skies ahead. That's exactly what's been panning out so far. This region has been a tough nut to crack. What's funny, and kind of annoying in a way, is once we did look to break out, it seems as though there was some large profit taking combined with the Middle Eastern war, and we have been driven right back down again. But regardless, I do think Ethereum is looking good. This 2.5k region consolidation is healthy, its strength relative to Bitcoin has increased, and I'm kind of hoping we've created a new floor here around this level. But yeah, ideally we break through this resistance and it can get above 3k and beyond. As I just mentioned, we can see ETH BTC strength has been in ETH's favor as of late. We were looking good, but have hit a wall for now. The signs point to the bottom being in for this metric, however, we still have a long way to go. Just like Bitcoin, Ethereum is also having very nice inflows into the ETFs. Consistent positive inflows, getting even $240 million on one day a few days ago. It's really nice to see investor sentiment being restored in this project. We also have increasing stablecoin attention coming. The CEO of Circle, which recently debuted on the New York Stock Exchange, said stablecoins will have their iPhone moment soon. Should this be the case, Ethereum will benefit heavily. It's the hub for DeFi, majority of stablecoin protocols sit on this chain, and it's the most institutionally recognized network for a reason. All of this bodes well for us to break past all-time highs once other factors go our way. And when this happens, that's when our portfolios will begin to look healthy again. I know it's tough seeing altcoins where they are now. They seem to be in a bear market whilst Bitcoin is in a bull. A lot of this does hinge on Ethereum to provide the sentiment for altcoins, and I've said in the past, I don't think it will be like previous alt seasons where everything pumps. Only the strongest coins will do well, and that's completely fine because in communities like ours, that's what we're great at finding. Even recently, after I made a video on Keter, it 2x'd before sliding back down. Coins like Rio have doubled since recent lows, as did BitTensor and Anyone. I'm just giving a few examples. So the coins we are interested in and will invest in, I don't have any doubt that they will do well. It just takes one coin with the right conviction and capital to change your life. It's not about giving up when it gets tough, it's about retaining the drive and determination. The markets are designed to shake you out when it all looks over. The tariff drama did exactly that. Whereas if you were in this community, if you watched these videos and were patient, your portfolio would be a minimum 2x off the lows. I found this data interesting. Sentiment for Bitcoin is now as low as for when it was 16k, except now it's 105k. Huge difference. Retail interest is incredibly low. You can see it just from YouTube views alone. I feel like only the most serious investors are watching my content now. And if this does mark the bottom, when sentiment eventually does come back, because it will, what's stopping Bitcoin running to 125, 150k or higher? What's stopping Ethereum hitting 5, 6, 7k or more? And our alts to really explode and shine. The data to me suggests that it is coming, but it's a matter of patience. Aside from that, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. Please like and subscribe, join the free Discord, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.